the show. It's been a minute. Been too long.
Yeah.
But glad to get you back on.
Just busy schedules, all that stuff.
Oh yeah, definitely. So we got Tyjun Mack on the show. The last time we talked, I don't know what we were talking about, but obviously the Warriors end up losing in the NBA Finals. Last game in the Oracle. I got to start off with that. What was your thoughts with that finals being over with and Toronto hoisting that trophy with the last game in the Oracle?
It was painful. It was painful. We just had bad luck. Sometimes it's not your year. This is one of them times. And it was painful to see, not just because it was hoisting the trophy, but also seeing like Clay go down in that game too. The game before, Kevin Durant, tearing the Achilles. You're proud of your team because they deaded it out. Iggy came out. I think he gave like 22 points that night. Boogie played through the injury. He gave us something. Draymond, he had like 19 rebounds. I mean, they played hard, man. They played hard. Sometimes you gotta tip your hat to the other team. They won the game. They were able to stay healthier, and they wanted it more. So we had a chance at the end. I mean, a great play by Steve Kerr. I feel like that was like a very, very aggressive yet great play that he called at the end and just Steph that good look. And Steph just missed it. So tip your hat off. And you sad to see the Oracle go down like that. I mean, it was live in there. It was live. It was moving. And so you hate to see the last game at the Oracle be on a loss, but new stadium, Chase Center in San Francisco. Steph will be opening it, and hopefully we make another run at a ring this upcoming season and for the next 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, and people talk about the dynasty is over. I don't think it's over. I just think it's going to look different, and you're going to have to regroup. You're going to have to figure out how to sign KD, which I got an interesting story that came out by Brian Windhorst, which I don't really trust Brian Windhorst that much because he was like LeBron's, almost like LeBron's nephew. He was following LeBron everywhere he went. I think when I was in Cleveland the first time, and then he just kind of blew up. But they're going to have to regroup. I think they're still going to be a good quality team. But the story is, if you guys have or have not heard about this, Brian Windhorst is saying the Warriors, should sign KD and then trade him to another team. That, to me, makes no sense. Why would you want to make another team better? What would you be able to get from him? You'd probably be able to get something back from him. I get that. But you don't really see sign and trades a lot in the NBA. But I wanted to get your thoughts on this. Is this a whack story, or do you feel like this is something that could actually happen?
So it's funny that you're saying that, and it's funny that came out because I actually said this about a month and a half ago. So it sounds crazy. But with all the rumors that were going around, and I personally don't feel like KD is leaving. I never felt like KD was leaving the Warriors in the first place. But I do know that his owner, his manager, who is also his business partner and like a really, really close friend of his, is a huge Knicks fan. He is a huge Knicks fan, and I think some of the rumor of him going to the Knicks is because of him. We did know KD had already said that he wanted to get the max money available. He's never been a maxed out player in his entire career. He's never been maxed out. He's always, when he was at OKC, he signed extensions. He got the max extension. It wasn't max money. And then when he came to us, he took less money than he could get on the market. So he's never been a max player. And he basically was like, this time I want to get paid. I want to get max money. Now, because of that, the Warriors are the only team who can give him that max money. They're the only team that can give him $220 million. So, with that being said, I always felt like he was going to sign back with us if that proved to be true, that he wanted the max money. Now, what the Warriors could do, which would be really, really smart because it would help both the Warriors and and Durant, would be to trade him to a team of his choosing. If that was the Knicks, he could get traded to the Knicks. The Warriors would get some assets back, and they will get some assets back with their bird rights and still be able to be competitive. And it would be like a goodwill thing between both teams, as the Warriors, they sacrificed their depth to bring on KD, and they gained 2 rings from it. KD increased his profile. He is now a champion. He is seen as the best player in the league currently, arguably number 2. But, I think he's the best player in the league prior to the Achilles injury. And with that, it's a win-win for both parties. So I actually predicted this a little bit before the injury happened. Now that the injury happened, it is something that that's really possible. It's really possible. I don't think it's going to happen, but it is really possible.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen either. But if there's a story that's out there, and shout out to Courtney Harden, he said BS3 and Tyjun Mack, I was supposed to be on this show.
Yeah,
you're right.
Always, man.
You're right. We will get that going soon. But it's an interesting topic to talk about because it could happen, but I don't know if that's what the Warriors would do. But that would definitely give them some assets and for them to rebuild this roster based on what it's going to look like next year without Clay, because Clay's more than likely, obviously, not going to play. But
yeah,
interesting story. So
I will say this.
Oh, go ahead.
I will say this. In the contract negotiations, or coming forward to the contract negotiations, one of the things that the Warriors want to present KD is a opt-out clause each year. So basically what they want KD to understand is that they appreciate him so much that if he at any point with the Warriors does not feel happy and wants to leave, they will openly trade him to wherever he wants to go, which is like crazy. Nobody ever does that, right? Yeah, but true. Basically they're basically giving him the keys to the engine. Like, look, dude, if you want to be here, that's cool. We'll pay you. And if you don't want to be here, we will trade you to wherever you want to go with no problem.
Yeah. And that's something that you never see, but they do value. They value him. Also, I think they feel bad, with him going out there and playing. I think some of those tears by the GM, which we're not going to get too deep into this, but some of those tears I think was guilt, which understandable. That's one of your best players, and
yeah,
whatever aspect of you had it of him playing, you're gonna feel bad. That's a natural emotion. So we'll see what happens. Let's get into this draft though. Draft was last night. Pick 1 through 4. We shouldn't have been surprised. It was pretty much announced. Now 1 through 3, I should say. Zion going 1. The Zion era has begun. Jay Morant, R.J. Barrett. What were some surprises for you? I know we were talking about pre-show. There was a lot of trades that went down, but what was probably the biggest surprise for you throughout the draft?
The biggest surprise, I think for me, probably the Darius Garland pickup for Cleveland at number 5. With them already having Colin Sexton at point guard, I thought that they would really focus on a small forward or a shooting guard, a wing player, 6'7", 6'8", and then getting Darius Garland, which I think Darius Garland is a really, really high quality point guard. He's going to be really good, I believe. That was interesting. I really thought that they were going to go with Jarrett Culver or Kobe White from North Carolina. So I had one of those two going to Cleveland, and they kind of threw me off with the point guard move. And so them running the two point guards in the backcourt, sort of like Dame and CJ. CJ McCollum. Like, that should be interesting. I think in the Eastern Conference, you can get away with that a little bit more because you don't see big guards in the Eastern Conference. Most of the guards in the Eastern Conference are around like 6'4", 6'5". You see more bigger guards in the Western Conference. And I think that for Portland, like, for somebody to say, like, we want to run it like Portland, I don't think Portland has really been that successful with Dame and CJ in the backcourt. I mean, you know, of course, offensively they are, but defensively they aren't really good defensive players. So I think that has hurt them a lot because they lack that defensive presence in the backcourt. But I think in the Eastern Conference you can get away with it a little bit more. And so it'll be intriguing to kind of see. I don't think Darius Garland or Colin Sexton are great shooters like that. I think they're scorers. They're not shooters like Dame and CJ. You know, so that should be that's going to be an interesting fit to see how that works. But that was probably, like, for me, that was like the most surprising thing for me.
Yeah, and let me give a quick shout out to Miss Low Key in the building. Also, Laffy T. Thank you guys for tuning in. Any thoughts on how you felt about your team's draft? You know, we had somebody giving a shout out to the Hawks because of their picks and the trades that they made. But for me, I would say the biggest surprise was seeing Nasir Little go to 25. Now, Nasir Little, I'm a Tar Heel guy, you guys know that, but he was projected to go like top 10, and he didn't end up going till 25 to the Trailblazers. And then the flip side of that was Cameron Johnson, who was supposed to be lower in the draft, and he ended up going at 11. So those were a couple, and then Bol going in the second round with that spider jacket. I don't know. He was pulling something out of the bag with that one, but he went extremely low. Courtney says my biggest surprise was the Wizards picking Rui Hachimura so high. I like that kid, though. I think he's going to be a beast in the league, especially with the Wizards probably going to be looking different next year. So that was definitely a couple of surprises there. Now, let's also, and shout out to H-Rap B. Thank you for tuning in. Courtney also says, and the Wizards don't have any team president. Their front office is a mess. True. True. What's up, everyone? Ears on. Bulls glutton the finals, says H-Rap as he jumps in to the chat room. But also, let's look at some sleepers in this draft, which, you know, when you think of sleeper, you can say maybe second round. But if you go to the end of the first, this kid, Darius Baisley, he actually didn't go to college. I believe he went to the G League last year. He went to the Thunder. Be on the lookout for him. Also, Jordan Poole, who ended up going to the Warriors from Michigan. That's going to be interesting, especially with, like we've been saying, based on what the Warriors are looking like. Another guy I would say is, let me see, the Mavs pick, which was, what was that kid's name? I got it somewhere. Isaiah Roby. See what he can bring to the table. But what were some sleepers in the draft for you?
My sleeper, Keldon Johnson, the small forward from Kentucky. Really, like 6'7", was 6'9", 6'10" wingspan. Really sound defensively. And it's interesting, Kawhi leaves, goes to Toronto. But when you look at when he was drafted as one of those players who was really, really sound defensively, and they needed to develop his offensive game. And you see how far Kawhi Leonard has come as an offensive player. I think that Johnson is a little bit in that mode as well, where he is a player who defensively is sound, can get at you, can guard multiple positions. Offensively, right now, it's really, really streaky. He's not a good shooter, or he's not a great shooter. He's an average shooter. He can put the ball on the floor a little bit. He can get to the rim. But those are parts of the game that it needs to develop.